The Mets have been arguably the most frustrating team for their respective fan base this year in my opinion. From being one of the best teams in baseball through the season's first half to one of the worst in the second, to go along with downright horrible performance for most of their big trade acquisitions. And they arguably just hit the lowest point of their season yesterday when they fell off position for a wild card again. And their broadcast crew let them hear about it with an honesty that was both refreshing and downright brutal. Facing the Marlins in basically a must-win game, they would get out to a fast start versus Sandy Alcantara, with Francisco Lindor crushing a home run on the second pitch of the ball game before Juan Soto followed with a single and stolen base. A batter later, it was Pete Alonso's turn to come through, grounding an 0-2 changeup down the left field line. Pete would be stranded at second, but they had two guys on in the top of the second, a prime opportunity to add on. However, they wouldn't be able to do so when Lindor crushed a line drive to first base, with Luis Torrens getting doubled off in the process. Shortly after, Brett Beatty, their third baseman, would be removed with right side soreness. They were back to threatening again in the third when Soto led off with a single, then again stole second base, putting him just 2 swipes away from a 40-40 season. But the Mets again would strand another runner in scoring position, even after moving him up to third with 1 out, as Alonso and McNeil struck out back-to-back to end the frame. Rookie Brandon Sproat, meanwhile, had been dealing on the mound through the game's first 4 frames, not allowing much in the way of traffic and nothing in the way of runs. The fifth wouldn't be so kind to him though, as he proceeded to give up 3 straight hits to lead off the frame, tying the game and pushing the go-ahead run to third. The righty would then bounce back to get a ground ball to first, hit too hard to push anything across. This was where the shenanigans began, as Jacob Marcy followed with basically the exact same ground ball to first base, only this time Alonso would see it go off his mitt, and even though Jeff McNeil helped him recover in time to get the out, the Marlins now had the lead. After Agustin Ramirez flipped a flare into left field, Sproat's day was done, bringing on lefty trade acquisition Gregory Soto. And from here, all hell broke loose. First, Ramirez would take second by getting one of the biggest leads you'll ever see, then do the same with third. Soto made 0 throws in response, though on the second one it really wasn't his fault, as Ronnie Mauricio, their new player at the hot corner, wasn't even covering the bag. That meant that when Xavier Edwards grounded a single into center field, he easily scored on a play that normally would have just pushed him to third at the most. That deflated everybody in Metland, including the broadcast crew, who had this to say following the implosion.
I mean, you might take your whole travel ball squad off the field if something like that happened. Here's a team that is fighting to get to October. What are you going to do in October with an inning like that?
Just brutal as hell, but in my opinion, completely justified. Connor Norby would then add insult to injury by crushing an inner half sinker way out to left field, a no-doubter that pushed things even further out of reach. Their offense would have one final big chance in this one, when with 2 outs in the 8th and the bases loaded, Mark Vientos would pop out to shortstop Otto Lopez, induced by the outright maniac Tyler Phillips, arguably MLB's most locked-in player. They would then proceed to go down 1-2-3 in the 9th, again dropping them out of their wildcard spot thanks to a win by Cincinnati and Milwaukee. And yes, there still are a couple games to play, but right now, things are looking pretty bleak in Queens. Now, before I go, I just wanted to shout out Mike Trout yesterday for crushing 2 home runs in Anaheim's comeback win versus the Astros, a victory that had to be extra satisfying for the Halos considering this series essentially is must-win for Houston. As for Trout, when you take into account that his underlying numbers are still very impressive despite some surface regression, I think he could very well be in for a rebound season in 2026, as he continues to put the finishing touches on what is already a first-ballot Hall of Fame career.
Alright everybody, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and if you did, consider checking out any of these other videos on your screen right now for other content just like this. Also, if you ever see anything you'd like to see me detail in the video, feel free to reach out to my email, basebpoet@gmail.com, and if I end up using your idea, I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for watching, have a great rest of your day.